Westididagudon. Each year, more than 200,000 people are hospitalized with flu. Like all Americans, native peoples and tribal communities need to protect themselves. Flu spreads mainly from person to person through coughing or sneezing. People can also get infected by touching something with flu viruses on it and then touching their mouth or nose. Most people with the flu have mild symptoms, but pregnant women, young children, the elderly, and people with illnesses like asthma, diabetes, or heart disease are more likely to suffer from serious complications. Protect yourself, your family, and your community from the flu. Get vaccinated every year. Cover your coughs and sneezes. Wash your hands often. And if you're sick, stay home. Protect the circle of life. Know the facts about the flu.
I'm Tiffany. I have some tips for you on how to quit smoking like I did. First, I did some reading about it. I found a lot of great advice on how to quit smoking and picked out the ways I thought would work best for me. I started by setting a quit date. Then I threw out my ashtrays, lighters, and matches. I did other things too, like exercising more, and it worked. But I'd still get cravings, especially on long car rides. To help me with that, I put a picture of my mother in my car. She died of lung cancer from smoking cigarettes when I was only 16. Now I have a 16-year-old daughter. That picture of my mother reminds me that I don't want to miss all the things my daughter is going to do in her life, including turning 17.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
90% of Americans age 2 and older eat too much sodium. Too much sodium can increase your risk for high blood pressure, which often leads to heart disease and stroke, 2 leading causes of death in the U.S. Most of the sodium we consume does not come from the salt shaker. It comes from foods prepared in restaurants and processed foods. Since sodium is added when foods are processed, you can't remove it. You can reduce the amount of sodium in your diet by taking several small steps. Prepare fresh foods at home as often as possible and limit processed foods. Eat more fresh or frozen fruits and vegetables, which are naturally low in sodium. Read labels while shopping to find the lowest sodium options. When eating out, request that no salt be added to your foods during cooking. And work with your school or workplace to lower sodium in cafeteria foods. Learn more at www.cdc.gov/vital signs.
1, 2, 3, my baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure.
Big business, small business, web-based businesses, let's talk. Outside Analysis Radio would like to promote your needs by offering sponsorship opportunities for as little as $10. If you're looking for a boost in exposure, take advantage of our affordable advertising rates. Just contact me, Ernest, at Ernest Shepard at OutsideAnalysis.com. That's ERNESTSHEP at OutsideAnalysis.com. Hey, welcome back. We got into a lot of heavy football talk. Congratulations to Ryan Pace. You did a good job on the hiring of John Fox. Although it's not one that moves the needle, it is a needed move. The Bears needed some stability, a guy that can instantly walk into a locker room and get respect. It's the first time that the Bears have hired a guy with a coaching pedigree. I'm surprised. Pardon me if you heard any sound. I got some pizza over here. I got some Twinkies going on. I got Dead Rising 2 playing in the background and a whole bunch of other stuff going on here. I hope you all are enjoying what you've heard thus far, despite all these background noises. Now I'm going to change the course of the show. Going to continue this football talk. You have both championship games tomorrow. The NFC championship game versus the Green Bay Packers and Seattle Seahawks, or with the Green Bay Packers and Seattle Seahawks. Then you have the AFC championship game with the Indianapolis Colts and New England Patriots. Green Bay, do they stand a chance? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Give me a call here at 773-530-1004. Give me a call here. You can create some conversation at the Outside Analysis Twitter page. The Twitter handle is Outside Analysis. Follow us there. Also, like the Facebook page at facebook.com/Outside Analysis. Now, back to the question. Does Green Bay stand a chance against Seattle? I think if Aaron Rodgers was 80% healthy, yes. Now, I sat and watched the first game of the season. Seattle basically laying the waste Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers highly criticized for avoiding Richard Sherman the entire night. With all the passes that Rodgers threw in the first game of the season versus Seattle, none of those went in the direction of Sherman, a.k.a. I'm the best corner in the game. Now, that may change tomorrow. One reason being is the development of Davante Adams. Adams has shocked many, and this has been a great rookie class of receivers that have come up. Odell Beckham Jr., Kelvin Benjamin, Mike Evans, Davante Adams, Paul Richardson, who won't be playing in the game tomorrow due to a torn ACL he suffered in practice. But Green Bay got fortunate with their draft and drafting Davante Adams. You know, they looked at what they had on their roster and they felt like they needed more speed. They felt like Aaron Rodgers needed another toy. And it's okay to tinker every once in a while. Sure, your needs might be on defense, but if you're that close to finalizing an entire group and all you need is one piece, isn't it easier to add the one piece that finishes the puzzle versus trying to track down 12 pieces that'll finish the other puzzle? Well, that's what the Green Bay Packers did. Unfortunately, Davante Adams is not quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is, and he has a torn calf. At least that's what they're telling us. Now, you know, like I know, football is a little different when it comes to reporting injuries. Football teams don't believe in transparency. I think that Rodgers is hurt more than what Green Bay's letting on. And having to deal with that stingy, hard-hitting defense in Seattle, that's going to be tough for Rodgers. It would be tough for any quarterback, for that matter. It would be tough if Rodgers was healthy at 100%. And I consider, and most people do consider, Rodgers the top quarterback in the game. But I still think that they have a chance to win it tomorrow. The experiment that they did with Clay Matthews on defense, having him play in the middle on the inside, they run a 3-4, having him play as an inside linebacker has helped Green Bay tremendously. What it has allowed them to do is to rush Matthews up the middle as a speed guy, as an extra pass rusher, as a guy who can flush Russell Wilson out of the pocket. Now, Russell Wilson, excellent runner, excellent at improvising, but no quarterback likes to run for their life. I promise you that. Tinkering with Clay Matthews, change the dynamic of the Packers defense. Seattle Seahawks aren't a dominating force on the offensive end. Not having a speed threat in Paul Richardson hurts them. Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, Luke Wilson, who played well versus Carolina last week. Yeah, they're pretty solid as pass catchers, but they're not those types of receivers that you will imagine cornerbacks and safeties staying up at night because they're afraid to tackle them. And that's what I mean by that. And that's not a slight against Baldwin and the others. It's just they're not Rodgers. It's not Rodgers throwing to Nelson, Cobb, and Adams. There's a difference. So on defense, if they can contain Seattle and hold Seattle to about 21, 24 points, and they can actually move the ball with Eddie Lacy, yes, the Packers have a chance. But they have to be focused. The offensive line has to keep Rodgers as upright as often as they possibly can. Rodgers has to be allowed to throw in the pocket. Now, against Seattle's defense, that's a hard task. No one really has been able to do it all season with the exception of Tony Romo. So it's inconceivable that the Packers' offensive line can keep Rodgers inside the pocket, which will allow him the time to throw and not force him to be flushed out of the pocket and run for his life and risk further injury to his calf or whatever mysterious injury he has. Using Eddie Lacy early and often is another key for the Packers if they want to achieve victory. Lacy's an excellent running back, got great vision. He's going to have to hold on to the ball. They're going to have to not necessarily attack Seattle up the middle, perhaps throw some play action, mix in play action, screen passes, get Seattle's defenders to focus on the outside and then force Lacy and James Starks into the middle. Green Bay has a chance. My prediction, though, Seattle Seahawks 27, Green Bay 20. The 12th man in Seattle makes the difference. No team has been dominant in Seattle, even during Seattle's years when they struggled. No team has really been able to go up there and dominate them. So, home field advantage is vital for a reason. I'm not ready to claim the same thing in the AFC Championship, where you have Tom Brady, best quarterback of this generation. Some will say Peyton Manning. I say show me those 3 Super Bowl rings. Wow. Anyone want to debate that? Number here is 773-530-1004. Who's better? Brady, Manning. Who was better? Brady or Manning? Tom Brady